Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to NBA Got Game TV, and as always, thanks for tuning in. Once in a while, I try to feature a fan request, and since LeBron James stated that he believes that he's the greatest of all time, many of you guys actually requested a video on me comparing Michael Jordan to LeBron James, which I gladly do. So, how am I going to approach this? Well, I got major categories where I'm going to compare Michael Jordan to LeBron James and see who's actually going to come out on top. But before we start this video, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Also underneath the video you will see a link to my Facebook page. Likes, I really appreciate it. And I would say without any more blah blah, let's get right into it. First category that we're going to take a look at is defense. LeBron James and Michael Jordan are some of the best defenders who ever played in the NBA. But LeBron James is a six-time All-Defensive player, has a career average of 1.6 steals, which is pretty good. But when it comes to blocks, he has 0.8 blocks a game, which is not too much for a guy his size. LeBron James is a good on-ball defender, but one thing that always disturbed me was many times he didn't feel the obligation to guard the best player on the opposing team. So let's take a look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is a three-time steal champ with a career average of 2.3 steals and nine-time All-Defensive player, and he also has a career average of 0.8 blocks. So basically the same number as LeBron James, but the only difference is LeBron James is way taller. One thing that always impressed me and also many other players was that Michael Jordan always felt the obligation to guard the best player on the opposing team. Jordan and Pippen actually always fought about who could guard the best player on the opposing team. And even when Michael Jordan was in his late 30s, he still did it. When it comes to being versatile, LeBron James obviously could guard more positions. He actually can guard nowadays NBA position 1 to 5. Michael Jordan on the other hand could guard position 1 to 3. But still, I will give this category to Michael Jordan, and here's why. Not only was Michael Jordan the Defensive Player of the Year, which LeBron James never accomplished, he had many game-deciding moments where he actually made a difference on the defensive end. So let me give you a taste of that one.
This is a scary situation, and this game should be dead meat.
And when Chicago had a chance to seal its sixth title, it seemed like the story was already written.
Malone is doubled. They swat at it and steal it.
Stolen by MJ. Bulls down 1.
Michael Jordan, with time ticking down, providing us with one lasting memory.
17 seconds from championship number 6.
Jordan a drive. Hangs, fires, yes! The Bulls lead 87-86.
As I mentioned, that one goes to Jordan, winner Michael Jordan. And the next category that we're going to take a look at is the offense. Both players have a totally different game. LeBron is more known for playing almost like Magic Johnson, of course being stronger and faster. But right now his career average is 27 points and 7.2 assists. And of course, if LeBron James wanted to, he could score way more points, but it's just not his playing style. LeBron is stronger than 99% of the players in the league. He can power his way through the basket anytime he wants. And with today's rules, he's practically unguardable. Jordan was also unguardable, but with a big difference. Back in the days, we had hand checking. Ask any player who played in the 80s and the 90s, hand checking is a very important detail because it allows you to push your opponent around and control his movements. Plus, the game was way more physical. I mean, everybody of you guys who watched the 80s and the 90s, it was a totally different game. And still, Michael Jordan averaged over 30 points a game. So I will give this one to Michael Jordan, and I will explain why. Both players shot about 50% from the field, both players shot about 32% from downtown, but there was one big difference. Michael Jordan was a way better free throw shooter. He shot 83% over his career, and this is actually one of the biggest weaknesses LeBron James has. He only shoots 73%. If you follow the current season, you will know that LeBron James missed some game-winning free throws a couple of times. So this is one big part why I give this one to Michael Jordan. Another aspect is that Michael Jordan had a sensational post-game, which allowed him to score on even bigger players. He was a 9-time scoring champion, something that LeBron James only accomplished once. So some of you guys might say, hey, but LeBron James is a better passer. And you're right, he's definitely the better passer. But there's one thing that many people forget. In the late 80s, Michael Jordan was supposed to play the point guard position for one season, and he averaged 8 assists a game while still scoring over 32 points a game. So if Michael Jordan was asked to, he could also be a good passer, but it was his job to score. So as I already mentioned, that one also goes to Michael Jordan.
In just your 4th season, you've established yourself as an intimidating force on both ends of the court, leading the Chicago Bulls to a 50-32 record, their best in 14 years. Michael, nobody does it better.
And the next category that we're going to take a look at is rebounds. LeBron James has a career average of 7.4 rebounds in comparison to Michael Jordan, who has only 4.7. Michael Jordan was a good rebounder for his size, but LeBron James is way stronger and way taller, and also is the way better rebounder. Michael Jordan's best season in rebounds was in 1989, where he averaged 8 rebounds a game, but LeBron James is averaging 8.6 in the last 2 years. So that one is quite obvious, that one goes to LeBron James. And the next category that we're going to take a look at is fundamentals and skill set / basketball IQ. LeBron James is one of the smartest players to ever play in the NBA. He has a very high basketball IQ, and even though he never played in college, his fundamentals are 100% sound. You can say he's a complete player. Michael Jordan also had a very high basketball IQ, and his fundamentals were sensational. He was so 100% on target with his fundamentals that many coaches always highlighted how his fundamentals are the difference maker. His skill set in general was as good as LeBron James's. LeBron James is a complete player and therefore had many triple-doubles, which many LeBron James fans use against Michael Jordan, saying that Michael Jordan wasn't capable of doing this, which is far away from the truth. Michael Jordan actually had many triple-doubles, and there was even a streak where he had more than 5 games in a row where he averaged a triple-double. Let's have a look.
Scotty gives to Jordan, top of the key. Michael down the lane to the right, lays it in. Now Jordan on a push dribble. Michael comes in for left, hands to Horace Grant. Reverse layup is in. Michael Jordan takes it down the lane. A dish for Pippen. Scotty lean in shot and a foul call. Rimming high, no good. Jordan way up for the rebound. Michael takes it to the middle. Long bounce ahead to Horace Grant for the dunk. Ahead to Jordan. Michael comes down left the lane all the way to the hoop. Finger roll is in. Jordan on the move right side against Teagle. All the way to the hoop. Shoots it in off the glass. Jordan backs him in the lane. Now takes it to the hoop. Lays it up. Good. Takes it across the lane. Lefty shot. Bank no good. Rebound Michael Jordan. Now the Bulls on the push as Jordan brings it down. Takes it right in the lane to the hoop. Kicks for Vincent. Left baseline jumper. Good. 3-on-1 break. Michael Jordan a dish for Grant and Horace. A two-hand jam. 4 on the clock. Michael in the drive. Running hook. Rimming good. Backs right back into Jordan. Low right against Humphries. Turnaround jumper. Good. Jordan on the drive. Down the lane. Dish left to Grant to the hoop for the jam. Just picked it up. Jordan has it in the lane. 13-footer tie game. Michael Jordan drilled it.
So this category at the end is a wash. Michael Jordan had the better fundamentals, LeBron James maybe had a better skill set, and both had a very high basketball IQ. So let's call it a wash. So the next category that we're going to take a look at is NBA championships. This is a very interesting one. LeBron James is a 3-time NBA champion, which is already a very great accomplishment. His last championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers beating the Warriors was a sensational masterpiece, and you gotta give credit where credit is due. He appeared in 8 NBA finals, which is crazy and remarkable. But wait a minute. 8 finals, 3 rings. There are 2 sides how you can see this. Many LeBron James fans say that he always had a weaker team and was always the underdog in the finals, and that Michael Jordan always had the better team. And this is actually false. Let me give you the starting lineup for the Chicago Bulls championship teams from the first three-peat. So it was Michael Jordan, a great player in Scottie Pippen, a solid role player named John Paxson, who averaged 7 points by the way, a 30-year-old and banged-up Bill Cartwright, who averaged between 4 and 8 points a game, and Horace Grant was just emerging and averaged about 13 points per game. So this was the starting lineup, and they won against the Lakers with Max Johnson was only 31 by the time, James Worthy, Hall of Famer, Byron Scott, one of the best shooting guards of the 80s, Sam Perkins, Vlade Divac, AC Green, and Michael Thompson. The following season, they played against the Portland Trail Blazers with prime Clyde Drexler, Jerome Kersey, Clifford Robinson, Buck Williams, Terry Porter, and Kevin Duckworth. The following finals against the Phoenix Suns, they played against Charles Barkley, Kevin Johnson, Dan Marley, so 3 All-Stars, Tom Chambers, Richard Dumas, who was really great that season, and Danny Ainge. So if you know these players, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When it comes to the mid-90s Chicago Bulls, yeah, they had a great and sensational team. 100%. The addition of Dennis Rodman, Steve Kerr, Ron Harper, they were a great team, but until old Michael Jordan is 6 out of 6, and that's why that one has to go to Michael Jordan. And the next category that we're going to take a look at is clutchness. This is a very important one. Why, you ask? Well, if the game is on the line and it's very close, you want the ball in the hands of your superstar, of your best player, of your go-to guy. Players like Larry Bird, Reggie Miller were at his best when the game was on the line. So let me ask you a question. Who would you rather give the ball, Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Michael Jordan is probably one of the best clutch players you will ever see in the game. And even LeBron James had his moments. There were many games and incidents where he didn't show up. I'm sorry, but if you are objective, there's no way you would pick LeBron James over Michael Jordan when the game's on the line. So that one goes to MJ.
Gets the ball from Hugh Evans. He looks. He gives to Jordan. Jordan to the circle, puts the shot in the air. Good! The game's over.
3초, 2초, 르브론 제임스 던집니다.
So let's round it up. In total, it's not even close. There's no question that LeBron James is one of the best players to ever play the game. He could easily make the top 5, and I really appreciate the things he does off court. In today's game, he's definitely the best player, and next to Kobe Bryant, probably the best player in the last 10 years. But this is also where I have to draw the line. Michael Jordan was just a different type of animal, and I understand that most of the younger generation has a hard time to believe it that there's actually somebody better than LeBron, but take it from somebody who watched Michael Jordan 24/7, that guy was just special, and just can't be surpassed. Alright fellas, so that's it for today's video. If you want to check out my other channel, the BTM Basketball Time Machine podcast with me and NBA stars from the 80s and 90s, just click on the link and I'll see you next time.